What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Dan and Luke from Daft Previews again, and we're here to preview round 9 of the NRL. Luke, welcome, my man. How was your Anzac Day yesterday?
It was good from a 2-up perspective. Terrible. I went 0-4 off the bat. So
0-4. What were the stakes?
50 on 50, 50, 50.
Straight
So
in
200 gone in literally 5 minutes, which was nice.
Right.
Then down my
stakes. Were you
stakes.
at this point?
Sorry?
How many beers deep were you?
I was a couple beers. Like I also got like this Tui's hat because I bought 2 beers. So that was my profit for the week.
Shit, that's awesome. I'd love that.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for those. If you ever like go to a pub and they go, there's like hats and stuff where you got to buy their drink. Again, Tui's isn't like probably not in my top 4 or 5 beers, but I got Tui's because like you get a hat. So
that's a great hat, honestly.
It is. Yeah, I like it.
I'm full of envy right now. The white stag gets me every time.
But I then proceeded to lose, 4 in a row. I'd stuck to heads, miss. Then lowered my stakes, which then started winning. I went $20 heads. There was 7 heads in a row. I was flagged. It was a train, and then upped them again and lost. So lost on 2-up. But it was good.
I obviously avoided 2-up once again. I don't like crowded places. But I did hear a story from someone at work today who went to the Fiddler.
Yep.
Played some 2-up. Their last game, they staked $4,000 on a game of heads or tails.
Fucking hell. That's crazy.
But if you think about it, better than $1.90 odds, mate.
It is.
You're never going to get odds this good for 50-50.
No, it's 50-50. But losing 4 in a row off the bat didn't help. Like, I was hoping just to break even.
Yeah.
And it was. And then when I did lower the stakes is when I went on that run. But it's all good fun. I got a hat. So
look,
shout out to
that's the main thing.
Sponsor today, Tui's. Thank you.
Tui's. Could be a sponsor.
Official beer of the Daft Previews podcast.
until we start making our own beers.
Yes.
Welcome to Lockie, Huncho, your regulars. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys got up on the old 2-up. I hope you guys are strapped up, got your condoms on, got your lube out. I know my tissues are here, so get ready because this show is going to get arousing, boys. All right. And I apologize to my wife in the next room who can probably hear that. So, talking rugby league, I just want to talk a little bit about last week. Some fantastic games, some unbelievable comebacks on the weekend. Speaking about comebacks, firstly, how unlucky were the Warriors? I just want to say that.
Very. I thought they were
excellent
awesome.
Rugby league.
I love the Warriors.
That's what I said. I fucking love that. I've been saying that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And I was watching it again. I was watching that Storm game, and there was a part of me, not even a part of me, a lot of me, that got the same feeling I get when I'm watching Brisbane. Like, I, the financial aspect, the bet that I had going was going to hit the whole time. I knew that. But I just wanted the Warriors to win so much. It gave me that Broncos feeling, and I don't get that for any other club. So, unlucky bastards, got a lot of injuries. So we'll see what that means for them this week. But they were very unlucky, played a great game in Amy Park. And speaking of unlucky, not even unlucky, how shit were the Titans? So at halftime in that Titans and Dolphins game, I think it was, I don't know who it was. I think it might have been Cooper Cronk or somebody said that they're going to back the Dolphins to come back here. I was like, one of them said they would do it, and everyone else was like, the Titans are going to run away with it. What were your thoughts at halftime in that game?
Oh, the Dolphins are predicted all year. Like, there's no depth in that team. They were carving them up. It was bizarre though. It was just, again, Dolphins were awful, that was like what I think I had the Titans to cover the line from memory. No, I did. Sorry, I had Titans plus 2.5.
Yeah.
So incredibly, I had a shocking week. Incredibly hung on for plus 2.5 when I'm up 26-0 at halftime. That's crazy. It's just it's the Robert Jennings where he laid on the ground, didn't move as well. That was the weirdest fucking thing I've seen on a football field this year.
Yes. He was stunned. He was just as stunned as everybody was.
He was stunned. It was weird.
I'll tell you what else was fucked up about that game.
What?
And it also includes Robert Jennings. 54 points were scored, and Robert Jennings was the only winger to score.
Yeah, that's a big stat there.
Can you believe that?
That's a big stat. Yeah.
I thought that was fantastic. What else in NRL news is making the headlines? It started, the round kind of started this way, then we didn't too see much of it. But what about the hip drops in the Para Broncos game?
I
Or
thought
the so-called hip drop.
Ezra Mams isn't one. Like for me, I was like, but the Payne Haas one probably wasn't great.
No.
But it's, I don't know. Like
I
for
don't think
me,
any of them were hip drops.
like they're accidents and things. Like I
Yeah.
think when you
'Cause
plant and then twist and throw your weight
hip
on.
drops. Yeah, last year's hip drops were so obvious and bad. Like, what was the Carrigan one he did on that fucking mullet bloke from the
Yeah.
Cowboys? I think when he got caught up with it. I think
Yeah, it was.
that one. It was a slow tackle. Cotter's slowly like walking forward, and then Carrigan just hip drops the shit out of him and fucks him up.
True.
Right? That's what a hip drop is. Like, it's slow, it's intentful, like it's deliberate. A hip drop to get the guy to the ground. It's not at full pace like all the ones we're seeing now. Like Ezra Mams one, that was full momentum. What was it? Dory almost gets a line break, and Ezra Mams is holding onto his waist.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else. What was he going to do? I think Dennis Kemp said this. Like, was he just going to hold him by the hips and run next to him? Like, how are you supposed to bring him to the ground?
Yeah, that's
like
true.
You have to drop your weight in order to bring him to the ground. So that one's a bit fucking harsh. The Payne Haas one, right? What makes that one so bad is that it's the whole injury thing, right? But the way that Campbell Gillard landed in the tackle, landed on his knees, got the wishbone happening. His knees were already spread apart, right? If Payne Haas didn't do what he did, and let's say he just landed on top of his back, it would have fucking ruined his whole career. He would have been out forever. Instead, he landed on his hip or the back of his leg or whatever, and didn't put too much pressure on him. But if he just landed on him in the conventional manner, right onto his back, Campbell Gillard would have just been flattened, legs spread wide open. He would have been absolutely cooked.
It's a fair point.
But yeah, look, it's a fucking joke at the moment. We lose two of our guns this week, but it's been happening all year. I guess we've just been lucky not to cop these fucking stupid rulings, but hopefully they sort that shit out soon because it's ridiculous at the minute. What else have we got that happened last week? Old Smash Headman from our Discord. He's just on the chat, but he's the newest Snake Charmer. So the Snake Charmer is a role that it's given once you share Anaconda and it lands.
Right.
So I think, correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think it was $97 odds his Conda hit for last week.
Oof, just NRL.
$97. A few of the lads got in, and he is now the first official Snake Charmer, after myself, of course.
Yeah. Good title.
It's a great title. So the Condas shall roll on. He's already put one up for this week. Any of you guys interested, jump into the Discord, get into the Anaconda pit, and you will see another Conda from Old Smash, but I'll be putting one together, that's for sure. Been missing out. Getting into this week, let's get straight into it because we started dribbling last week. The whole fucking, I don't know what teams we were creating, but we're going for a very long time. And we do have a short week. Work's been hectic. Personal life's hectic. Footy's on tomorrow. Let's not fuck around. Not fuck spiders. Let's get straight into this shit, shall we?
Let's rip in.
Kicking it off Thursday. I can't believe it. 2 days. It's only 2 days without footy. Like, not even.
1 day, you mean? Today.
One full day, but then you got to wait
tomorrow.
Most of tomorrow. Yes. 1 calendar day, but approximately 30 hours between football matches. First one, Thursday, we've got the Sharks versus the Cowboys. This game's been played out of PointsBet Stadium. Sharks, heavy favourites in this one. $1.28 on Sportsbet. Cowboys $3.75. The line's 10.5 if you're looking at totals. 40.5. Sharks haven't made any changes to their team, and neither have the Cowboys. So both teams unchanged. The line's quite large. Quite a tricky one if you're looking at handicapping. Well, it was for me. I've got a particular play in this one, but I wanted to see your thoughts on this one. We know that you've been watching Cowboys games very closely.
Very closely.
Firstly, How's the cash out and all that looking? They got the win last week. Did it move much?
Didn't move at all. It's
Right.
I thought it would come in shortened, but the cash out is still the same. About 3-1 odds on what I put on. Which is strange because I thought the win, but if you look at the game last week, they weren't very convincing against Newcastle at home either. But
No.
I am taking them plus 10.5. I think the line's too big, and it's a theme you'll see across most of my bets this week. I feel my lesson in the last couple of weeks is the gap between the same top team, Brisbane, and 12th, 13th, basically on the ladder isn't 10 points. I think they're very close. Penrith coming up, like even Souths. I don't think these teams are as good. The Roosters again yesterday, won by a point, but they were very average. So I think the 10.5 it's obviously I think the Sharks will win. I'll tip the Sharks, but I think they'll keep it close enough, and they did beat them there last year in the finals. So I'm taking Cowboys plus 10.5.
I like that as well. The Cowboys have lost 5 games this year.
Yeah.
From those 5 games, they've only lost 2 of them by more than 10.5 points. Mm-hmm. The wonderful Brisbane Broncos destroyed them, and the Warriors upset them. Outside of that, close one to the Dogs, close one to the Dolphins, and they lost another close one to the Warriors. So, and one thing I've noticed about Cronulla, and I knew this going into their game last week against the Dogs, is that when I've said this weeks and weeks in a row now. When they put points on, they also allow the fuckers. So lines this big can be very difficult. What was the line against the Dogs? 14.5, 15.5? They only won by 13.
It was... Oh, no, I went on the unders. Sorry. I went under 12.5 Dogs points. That was a joke.
I think it was 14.5 and it closed at 15.5.
And had Ronaldo not put his hand on the line at the same time, would have covered it, but they only won by 13.
But Ronaldo does that shit all the time. But what I'm saying is the Sharks will put points on, but they'll just let the other team put them on too. So when the lines are this big, it may be difficult for the Sharks to cash. But what I'm taking in this one, I was going to take 2. I'm looking at the Sharks total points. So fucking around with my sports bet. Sharks total points, I think, are at 25.5, and I think they cover that pretty easily. They've covered that in 1, 2, 3, 4 games this year.
4 out of 7.
4 out of 7. The Cowboys, as of late, last 2 weeks, haven't had very high-scoring games. But I don't think that matters to the Sharks. They seem to have a high-scoring game every single week, unless it's against the Souths and the Roosters. The Roosters game, the weather wasn't great. The game for this one Thursday, schmick. It's moist. The weather's been wonderful for the last few days. It should be fast. They're at home. They're going to put the points on. So I do like the Sharks to go over. I think it's at 25.5 at the moment. 25.5, $1.89. I reckon they cover that pretty easily. But I found a little bit more juice. I'm liking Cronulla over 13.5 first half points. $2.20. So the line on Sportsbet's 11.5 at the moment. But it's like $1.70.
Yeah.
And I reckon they score 3 times in the first half.
I like it.
3 times, so I'm taking them at $2.20. But I'm also liking their total points. So the Sharks should put some on. The Cowboys haven't been scoring plenty of points because their offense is clunky. They're pretty much all playing shit at the moment. But look, the Sharks let that fucking Dogs team score 20 points.
And they're shit.
Casey scoring. I reckon I can almost run as fast as that bloke. I'm 33 years old next month. I'm 5'7", overweight at about 90 kilos. I'm like an unhealthy Anthony Milford at 33 years of age.
An unhealthy
smokes,
one.
Drinks, vapes, who doesn't exercise. And I reckon I can almost run as fast as Declan Casey does. And he scored a try against these fucking faggots last week. So, just saying. I'm not taking the Cowboys unders because the Sharks aren't great defensively. But there will be points in this one. Mark my words. Huncho's with me right here. Hoping for high point contest. The snake charmer getting his flute ready. Yee. So is that your only play on this game though? You're taking your boys, the Cowboys cover?
Taking my boys. My one and only is at plus 10.5.
What's the Cowboys total points line? Because if you're a big Cowboys fan, you might want to take that too. 14.5.
Yeah, put me down for that one as well.
14.5. Look, Cronulla have given up more than that in 6 out of 7 games.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
And the weather's going to be pristine. So
Total points markets. Sharks point.
And you get it for $1.95.
Yeah, mate, you don't have to convince me anymore.
Mate. I'm just saying, there's fucking juice and there's gold here. I think when I look through, one thing I want you to keep in mind here, Luke, for this weekend, but also the other fuckers listening to this, we're going to see excellent weather Thursday, Friday. The weekend's going to be fucking shocking here in Sydney. So factor that in when you look at your bets, is all I'm going to say.
Good weather report.
Yep, the old daft previews, Tim Bailey, right here, right now. Let's get into your Friday games. We've got Parramatta Eels versus the Newcastle Knights. Parramatta favourites are $1.45. The Knights at $2.75. This is at me local at CommBank Stadium. The line's 7.5 points. And if you want to fuck around with totals, they're 41.5. Looking at the lineups, the Eels, they don't have Bailey Simonson. Sean Russell's in. Hayes Dunstan's on the wing. RCG is probably the biggest out. So Wiramu Greg's going to be starting. And for the Knights, very same team that played the Cowboys last week, but Kalen Ponga is most likely going to start this game instead of sitting off on the bench. What did you make of his return, by the way, before we get into some punting?
It was okay. They should have won that game against the Cowboys. They had so many opportunities, but yeah, I don't know. I just can't get over how much they dropped from the week before against Penrith.
Yeah, they're attacked.
But it's the Penrith theory. Anyone that plays Penrith at the moment plays the best game of the year.
They're just taxed.
It's like
the opposite of a bye. A bye, you come out refreshed. You verse Penrith and you fucking hungover as hell
because you play the game of your life the week before. It's not a bad stat to look up, actually, how teams have gone the week after playing Penrith. I know Brisbane first week won, but if going back through it, I think you'd find a lot of Stavros has made a big call there. That's a
Stavros, come on, mate. Big Newcastle fan. Ponga was electric, mate. That second half, he was looking good. He had some flashes of brilliance. But I think, this whole Ponga thing and the impact that to the Knights, there's a lot of teams that do this. When the best player is there, everybody takes a step back. It's like Jesus has arrived. He's here to save the day. And people stop working as hard. Whereas when he's not there, everybody has to be on. Everybody.
Fair point.
I think there could be a little bit of this happening. Look, tough game. I've liked the Knights as of late since they've really started to turn it on. I've never liked Parramatta. So I could be a little bit biased in this one. But look, it is at CommBank Stadium. Parramatta do tend to perform a little bit better there. Unless Brisbane come into town. That was at Darwin, I guess, so that one doesn't count. But they beat Penrith there. They beat the Dogs there. They did lose to Cronulla and Melbourne at the start of the year, but they're starting to get a little bit better, Parramatta. And we know the weather's going to be good on this one. So do you have any plays or any juice or insights you want to share for this one?
I do have a play on this one. I've got to play on every game, let's be real. I've gone Parra to cover the line. I think now looking back on, I think the Knights just played the game of their lives against Penrith. They were shit last week. And then prior to that, been very average. They beat a Warriors team again. That
was a letdown spot.
That was probably the letdown spot for the Warriors. And then they drew Manly. It's hard. It's really hard to pick that. And I think it's the only bet I've got where they're covering. Oh no, I've got one later on. But basically the majorities are not the other way around. I'm backing teams at the start. But I think Parra was such a disappointment last week against the Broncos. They're going to have to improve. And I think they did it last year too, from memory. Parra went win, loss, win. I don't think they won 3 games in a row until they made the grand final, I think. And that's been the story of their season so far. Lost round 1, lost round 2, lost round 3, won round 4, lost round 5, won round 6, and then lost last week. They haven't won 2 in a row. So I think this will be, they've lost 1. So I think they drew a big game anyway, and they'll come out and Gutho will do a spiel at the end of the game. Yeah, the boys had we really knuckled down this week. We had a bad last week. I think the big reason last week was Brad Arthur didn't drink enough water.
Potentially. He had the water bottles out once again.
He had them out. I'm telling you, there was more water bottles than points scored in Parra. But I've got him covering the line.
You've got them covered. No, I personally don't have anything on this one. I was thinking, I feel like it's going to be. I think the line's almost about right, give or take a few points. Um, I was thinking Para 1 to 12 is what I'm leaning towards. Unless Pong is brilliant, it could be either team 1 to 12. Haven't decided. And I'm only playing the multi this week, so I'm still unsure. I'm just not going to play anything. But either team 1 to 12 is $1.79. So not the horniest odds out there. Para 1 to 12 is 285. So it could be even a multi where you take Para to win and then go Knights plus 18.5 for about $2. Could be leaning towards something like that. But yeah, tough one. But look, should be good. At the end of the day, the one thing I like about this season is almost every single game is good to watch.
Yeah, I was going to say this would I hate Para, but I don't rate the Knights, but I still think it'll be a good game. Like I feel like at the 60-minute mark, it still could go either way. And that's basically
until a hit drop happens. There's a lot of sin bins between 50 and 60 minutes. I'm just saying.
Fatigue.
Until that happens. They should have a sin bin market, honestly, because these fucking idiots just keeps happening.
Cleaning them.
Absolutely. Let's get into the main event of the round. Friday evening, 8 p.m. It's the Brisbane Broncos versus South Sydney Rabbitohs at Suncorp. Would be a blockbuster clash, but due to some unfortunate circumstances, Corey Oates is injured once again. Payne Haas and Ezra Mann both suspended. Jock Madden comes in at 6, which is pretty good. I'm pretty excited to see him because Mam is fucking absolute rocks or the brightest diamonds. Like, he is so, like, what was that, flip pass last week?
That was very good to Reynolds.
Man,
that was
I yelled. Good. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was in that. It just made me feel a certain way because I don't know how he did it. He barely even looked. That was arousing as it gets. So that was him as a diamond. But the previous few weeks, just been dropping balls, chance in his hand. Like, everyone likes to say that Reece Walsh takes too many risks. Ezra takes heaps more.
Yeah,
he's taking so many more. But he's out. Keen to see how Jock Madden goes. He's, when he filled in at the Tigers, he was always pretty good when he filled in. But because Luke Brooks is there, the minute he's healthy, he's priority. So interesting how Jock Madden goes. Keenan Palacia, he's starting in the front row. I don't rate him, to be honest. I don't know why Jensen's not starting, but or even Marty, but Keenan's starting. He's going to the Titans next year, so I can't wait for that. And for the Rabbitohs, big in. They're only probably worth mentioning. Tavita Todola is coming back. So, but at the same time, I've been shitting on the South forward pack for a couple of weeks now since this guy's been out, and they have been turning the fuck up. They had a great win last week. I did give you a warning about the last 10 minutes of the Rabbitohs. And I said it in the Discord to everyone that Penrith aren't home. In these last 10 minutes, these motherfuckers get dangerous. And boy, did they. They do this bullshit all the time. What are your thoughts on the game last week? Penrith v South.
It's just, honestly, it's the theme this year. Every time Penrith play someone, they just show up. Like, I know you talked about, like, South's forward pack, but, like, again, that was just about every time we played a team this year, they've played their best game of the year. That was South's best game of the year. And you could see at the end of it, they were carrying on like they'd won the comp because they hadn't beaten us in so long either. But like they were very good. But at the same time, we knew that was coming. We seen that was coming all night. We shut it down, and then we got lazy in the last 10 minutes, and that's what cost us. The biggest robbery for me though was that. Did you see the Dalian voting for that game?
No, who got the point?
So Latrell got 5 points. Then it went Cleary 3 points because there's two people vote now. 3, 2, 1. Cleary got 3 points and Crichton got 2. Yet Crichton scored all of Penrith's points.
I think it's because Crichton's defense was fucking shit.
Yeah, I guess that probably. But
he turned into fucking Brett Naden.
But for me, in terms of what I'm taking the Bronx plus 3.5 in this, and that is on the back of what we talked about before. Teams, the Penrith theory, right? If you look at teams who have bounced back the following week, it's when Penrith have flogged them. So Manly, for example, Penrith flogged them. They get a kick up the backside. They come out the next week and beat Melbourne. But when teams play their absolute best game and have beaten Penrith, it's been a letdown the next week for them. So I think that's Well, I'm taking the 3. It's 3.5 on Sportsbet at $2.04. So,
Sheesh. That's a fucking ballsy move, my man. Ballsy move. Because as a Brisbane fan myself, I was a bit hesitant, but I was driving home, copped a little bit of traffic, and I was thinking about this game. Payne Haas is out, but we know that Carrigan's been coasting this year. He was excellent last year because Payne wasn't at his best, had his distractions. Payne's back to fucking 200 plus meters a game. Carrigan's just cruising. Loves a bit of tip on. He's just feeding the boys. He knows he's got to step up this week, and he's clearly capable of it. He was excellent last week, and I think he can take it up to another gear. He's kind of just cruising at the moment. So Carrigan can step it up. Flegler's been very good. We've got Kobe Hetherington back. So our forward pack is, I would say, still better than South, even with Payne Haas out. It does just close the gap a little bit. There is a chance of a letdown after the Rabbitohs got the win last week, but the Rabbitohs' potent backline is the reason why they do so well. That's what it is. It's Cody Walker's brilliant. It's Latrell's brilliant. And every now and then, again, Damien Cook. Actually, Damien Cook's been solid all year, to be honest. He's just not shooting the lights out.
Tell you what, though, remember we used to talk about it 2 years ago. Penrith were suckers for tries from dummy half, and then he went over the other night. I'm like, that was deja vu. And it was Dylan Edwards again caught.
Yeah.
I don't know why more teams don't do it. Like when Dylan Edwards is in the line, is because he gets to go, he does the other, goes to take off, and they, happen
again. Got him. So funny you say that. Someone who watches and listens to this got a $100 bonus bet when you deposited. Put $100 on Damien Cook first try scorer.
Oof. That's very good.
Yeah. Fucking stunning. You know, anytime you could get Damien Cook for $7.
That's huge. No, you can't even get Olakawatu for those prizes anymore.
Nah, motherfucker scores all the time. But the Nines against the Panthers, definitely one to look at. But what am I looking at this one? If I'm putting my Broncos hat on, what was I saying? The Rabbitohs' potent backline is the reason why they win games. The Broncos haven't earned the trust of the public yet. A lot of people still aren't buying it. We've played this good in the past and we've shit the bed. So I don't know. Think about this. Think about how many times you've had a woman over and she slept in your bed and she hasn't shit in it. Right?
Yeah.
Leaves a good taste in your mouth. Yeah. Yep. Leaves a great taste in your mouth. You probably want to see her again. You probably won't because you're a single man. But eventually you forget about them. All right? You take them for granted possibly. But think about it if you brought a woman home and you woke up, she was gone, and she had shit in your bed. You may never trust a woman to sleep over again.
True.
And that's what the Brisbane Broncos did to the public, especially the betting public last year.
They did, actually,
beds. At the end of the year, we disappointed a lot of people, and some people can't forget that.
There's still a reluctance to have them back. Yeah,
there's a reluctance. We can't have these guys over because they'll mess up your sheets. Right?
Even though it was a lot of fun to begin with and everything, it's always how you end the night. Yeah,
that's right. It was going to be the greatest story to tell the boys the following day, and it's been ruined, right? And that's what these guys did. And because of that, some people don't trust him. And, there's part of me, I don't feel that way either, but I just hear a lot of the noise, waiting for us to collapse, waiting for that poo to hit the sheets. And no one likes changing sheets. Taking off sheets are a pain. Washing the sheets are the pain. If you use a bloody clothesline, putting them up there is fucking awful. Then you got to put the bastards back on. It's just a horrible experience all around. So shitting in the bed is it's
overrated.
So, but anyway, my thoughts. The Brisbane Broncos backline is clearly as potent as the Rabbitohs one this year. We're fucking laying the points on, baby. We're only playing 40 to 60 minutes a week, and we're rating these tries on. Flick passes, cutout passes. Reece Walsh over 40 meters is the fastest person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's not even sprinting. He's kind of just hopping around and just flying. It is unbelievable. He's got so much. It's not like Josh Adokar, or Jason Saab. It's not like he's fast. He's explosive. And it's fucking fabulous to see. And I think missing Ezra, Reece was a little bit quiet last week, but the weathers didn't suit him. It was way too hot for that boy. I think he could have a blinder this week. The Broncos backline is potent as fuck. Jock Madden's no slouch. He knows what he's doing. I'm so keen to see this Herbie Farnworth versus Campbell Graham matchup because Campbell Graham is probably the best center in the comp this year. He's fucking excellent.
He's very
so
good. Consistent.
Yeah. He's so consistent. He's so physical. Fucker scores tries now, but Herbie's not too far behind him. So really keen for this clash. I'm backing you. I'm backing my Broncos back line. We're leaving those sheets squeaky clean this year. There might be a shard, there might be a stain, but we are not shitting in the bed this year. Brisbane 2023, taking that 3.5 at $2. Let's go.
Attaboy. No shitting beds here.
No shitting beds, possibly shit beds, but the beds shall remain clean. Speaking of clean, let's get into Slutty Saturday, eh? Hopefully she treats you well. First game's at Wagga Wagga at 3 p.m. Raiders versus the Dolphins. Canberra Raiders are $1.60. Dolphins $2.35. Jordan Raps is back from his fucking head gash. And for the Dolphins, Kenny Bromwich, he's coming back as well. Look, really keen to see how the Raiders bounced. But obviously the Jack White news came out, last Tuesday?
Last night.
Well, the official news came out last night, but the whispers were last Tuesday. So that news is out. Interested to see how the Raiders bounce from that. But what are your thoughts on the whole thing? There's apparently the Raiders want to do an investigation into the cap and how much they're paying him and everything like that. But it caught my attention. I actually replied to a Facebook post, and I was like, I don't see what the fuck's wrong with his deal. You were just paying him too much. $4 million for this bloke, and the back end of his career. In 2 years' time, everyone's like, this is overs. We're paying him too much. Like, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Dude, what are your thoughts on that, though? How much?
Where were all these people crying last year when Munster rejected more money to go to the Dolphins and stay at Melbourne? Like, Dolphins were offering mega money to him. And he's worth not that much money. Like, to say he should be earning as much as Cleary is crazy. Like, they go play for Australia, but
he's the best player on a shit team. That doesn't mean he's entitled to more money.
Yeah, like, do I think Souths are going to be better with him? Yeah, absolutely. In the centers, again, he's going to be playing a position he probably should be playing as he's not a halfback. He doesn't have to kick the ball out on the full. Then, like, he doesn't.
He'll find a way.
His strength is his running game. So again, he doesn't have to pass. Whoever's playing outside him next year at Souths, if they put him on that left edge,
he'll play on the left edge. Cody Walker will be there. Johnson will be there. It's going to be fucking sickening.
It's going to be very good, because the play is usually pass overlap. Now they've got a guy who can run, so they could play the pass run, and it's going to really mess defenses up. But you can't. I don't know. You can't talk about it. Like, Penrith are losing how many players at the moment, left, right, and center? Like, again,
there's more. Isn't it Luai Edwards now? That's the next decision?
Yeah, the next decision, one of them probably. Martin hasn't re-signed yet, although Martin's injuries suggest he might just stay along because I don't know if people can take him on. But yeah, I don't get why there's a big uproar about a player leaving. So Jamin Salmon will be on the market if they want him. But in terms of this game, I actually taken the Dolphins plus 4.5. I'm fins up.
Fins up. Oh my god.
Not obviously a massive fan of the Raiders, as you know, and I've always said very overrated team. Yeah. But yeah, I think they can cover this line. I think the Raiders are crumbling on the inside now with all this stuff going on with Whiten and just the negativity around the club. They did come out and beat the Broncos last time, though. They were in a bit of a hole. But
that's true.
Yeah, I still think they're a form away apart from that Broncos win. They haven't won on the road this year, apart from that one game at Suncorp and travelling out to, was it Mudgee? No.
Wagga.
Yeah, so I'm taking Dolphins cover the line.
It's a brave play.
It also is against the bye, where teams coming off the bye usually are pretty good as well.
They are. So I think up until the Tigers, every team who had a bye won the following week when they came back.
But then the Tigers technically covered the line as well. They only lost by 6 to Para. They were definitely way bigger than 6-point underdogs in Easter Monday game.
So you're looking at Canberra breaking that streak.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
The old bye streak. I've got nothing on this one. I got to tell you, I don't like betting on Canberra games because they are inconsistent as hell. see what type of response there is with their signing. Normally, when players sign, especially if they re-sign, they play a lot better. There's a bit of security, there's less confusion, the job's done, yada yada yada, and the team's a bit more settled. But when you get someone as big as this bloke jumping ship, you got to look around the locker room like, fuck this. Like, why am I even here? You know? So we'll have to see. We'll see whether they're weak-gutted dogs or not. It's going to put Ricky's coaching abilities to the test. Personally, I'm not touching it, but good luck to you and Wayne Bennett, my friend.
It'd be another good game, though, to watch because...
Oh, yeah. Big, excellent game to watch.
Like,
if the
you
hammer
just think
turns
like
up...
Kafusi going up against Horsburgh, for example. Like, fuck. If he puts a hit on Horsburgh's going to go head hunting. It's going to be fucking amazing.
Yeah. Fiery Queenslanders. It's going to be fucking brilliant. And look, vested interest. Got a few players in this Dolphins team in my fantasy team, so I'll be close to that. Speaking of fantasy, still undefeated. 8-0.
He did.
Yeah, 8-0. Bit of strife this week, though. I do have like 4 Melbourne players, and they've got the bye. But I'm that overconfident. I might just swap my emergencies in and fucking get the dub anyway, because someone's looking out for me.
You're versing Hobbo, I believe, as well.
Oh, easy win. Easy.
Let's call it now.
Calling it now. I'm not even. I might make one trade. Like,
just bring in another Melbourne player to really rub it in.
Just another one.
Just bring one who's not playing. Just that confident. I'm just going to bring him in.
I'll bring in Pappenhausen just as a future investment. Let's get in this game at 5:30 at 4 Pines Park. It's the Manly Seagulls versus the Gold Coast Titans. Manly at $1.50. The Titans at $2.60. The line is 6.5 points in totals. You're looking at 45.5. So the bookies are expecting some points. Looking at the lineups, Turbo's named to play, but fucking hell, he's been running at 70%. He's probably at 60 now. Tua Palatu returns. Ruben Garrick's going to move into the centers because Scorpio's out. Cooper Johns is back in because Schuster's out again. Just so many changes in that bloody team. It's going to be tough for him. And for the Titans, very similar squad that they had last week. When I first saw this, I was like, my first instinct was I'm taking the Titans. They've got to bounce back after that shit second half. Holbrook's most likely going to be the first coach who's sacked this year. The pressure's on him. He needs to get a response here. And the Titans, up until that second half, have actually been okay. The Broncos game, they were okay until that second half where they got blown apart. Dolphins' second half got blown apart. It might even be a Titans' first half line that we look at. And I need to double check this, but the weather in Manly on Saturday, I don't think that weather screams out 45.5 points. It looks like it's going to be fucking raining, cloudy, chance of showers, and rain. Like, I don't know, 45.5 points of terrible weather. I know the Titans are playing, but yeah, interesting one. What are your thoughts on this one? You sure you got a bet on every single game?
I do. I've got Titans cover the line. Hang on. And yeah, plus 6.5.
Plus 6.5?
Yeah, again, Turbo, he couldn't finish the game and he's named again. And he still he's getting worse every week. Schuster being in and out of the team isn't great. And I think they have to respond to the Titans. And if I know you got to look at the whole game, but they were up 26-0 against the Dolphins. So when they can put it on, they can put it on. I just think Manly, bit of a letdown spot for them potentially. Cover the line plus 6.5. Let's go.
Well, look, they only beat the Tigers by 6, and if the Titans and the Tigers were playing this week, everyone would be all over. The Titans might be 6.5 point favorites in that one.
Yeah.
So I think, I just wanted to ask you something. So sometimes, most of the time actually, my very first thought when looking at a game like this is I just jump at the first thing that is Titans 6.5. And this is what's caught us a few times before. Is that going to be the popular opinion amongst casual bettors? Is that going to be the casual option here because it seems too good to be true?
I think casual people are looking at the Titans giving up a huge lead and Holbrook getting sacked and Manly at home, Met Turbo. I think casual fans are looking at the Titans like their last week's game was the worst game for them by a mile, and looking past the fact that the first 40 minutes they were unbelievable. they've beaten Melbourne this year, so they're not as bad as people are probably thinking they are.
Yeah.
Manly in second as well. So people looking at the ladder going Manly second in the column, which is crazy to me.
That's yeah. Fuck.
Like they're 3 points. You guys have a 3-point gap, but they're second on the ladder. So I think fans will look at that and go, no, they'll cover that against Titans. Titans were so shit against, despite Manly being average against the Tigers, the Titans were that bad in the second half. People will be like, nah.
That's actually a good point. I was thinking about it now. If I was a bookie, right, and I was going to throw shit, if I was going to price this game, I wouldn't price it the way it is. I think the Titans should have a bigger line. I think the Eagles should be shorter odds, given they're second on the ladder. They're playing at 4 points. Gold Coast usually aren't the best team away. Manly is usually pretty elite at home. I think they cover the line very well. Maybe 8 of the last 10, 6 of the last 8, something like that. They've covered the line really well at home. And I think this, if you're a casual bettor, you probably jump straight into Manly to cover. Like 6.5 points is nothing. They should blow these fuckers away. But when the bookies price games like this, they have a strong lean on the Titans here. Strong lean. So I'm going to back you in. Taking the Titans 6.5. It's going to be wet. It shouldn't be fucking 46 points in this game. It'll be a tight tussle. Manly be dropping the ball everywhere. But, they probably still win. But that 6.5, I'm willing to take it with you, bros. Have you only got the one play on that game? Take that as a yes. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, fuck. Something just happened with my speakers, that's all. Oh. You muted yourself, you fucking knob. That's why.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get in this next one.
I don't know why I did mute it anyway.
On Saturday night, Carrington Park in Bathurst. It's it's a competition here between two of the biggest pussies in this comp, and by pussies I mean big cats. It's the Panthers versus the Tigers. The Panthers are $1.10. The Tigers are $7. The line is 18.5 points. It's a big rivalry here. Looking at the lineups, Taruva apparently is going to play. His injury looked a lot worse than it actually is. Tungle is out, but the Peach is in. And for the Tigers, Knopf is back. Charlie Staines is out. Brett Naden is back, and Kapoa is out. So I feel like the Tigers keep just switching their backs, and they're all just as good as each other. So not much really changes. But Panthers, minor changes in their back line. I did hear some whispers. There's a chance that Cleary could be rested for this one. But looking at the reserve list, I don't think so. But because he's got a sore groin.
He didn't kick at all last week, so I don't know if it was pre-game or even post or during. I don't know, something might have happened, but the only thing on that is they could potentially still rest Cleary and put Jamin Salmon at 5'8" and Luai in the halves, or even Jack Cogger can play 5'8" and Luai in the halves. So they do have a bench which could lean towards Cleary being rested.
Yeah. Okay. Are you taking the Tigers in this one?
I am. Plus 18.5. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. It's such a line for every team that plays Penrith this year showing up, and I can't see why the Tigers won't go out there and back themselves.
That's true. Tigers have only lost one game by that margin too.
Yeah.
To the Broncos. And
Penrith have only put that many. They covered that line once this year. That was against the Raiders, where they just literally gave up. Otherwise, just every single week, teams are like Penrith are winning or losing.
Very close, hasn't it?
Yeah.
1-12s all over the park.
Sorry, Manly we flogged as well. But
Manly and Canberra you flogged back to back.
Everything else has been 1 to 2 points basically, or 6 points against Souths. But again, that's my theory on teams that have been flogged by Penrith is that they come out the next week. But I think the Tigers can cover that line. I'm not convinced about Penrith, especially if Cleary is dropped. Then and if Taruva's still under a cloud, they're very walking wounded at the moment, Penrith.
Yeah. It's weird. Like, they've been playing okay. They just haven't been fucking nailing cunts. They haven't been putting them to bed. They've been taking girls home and then
Not
offering
shitting in
them
the bed.
tea.
Not
No,
even.
not shitting in the bed. They're bringing home girls from the club, but then offering them tea
Mm.
and being all nice about it.
Yeah.
You know, calling them an Uber after that cup of tea. You want some biscuits with that? Fantastic. Can I get you a glass of water? All right, wonderful. I'll call you an Uber. That's what Penrith are doing right now. They're just not
Yeah.
nailing motherfuckers. They're just
I
being
just
very nice
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, just you just feel they got another gear in them. Maybe I don't know. But it just seems to be every game teams play the best game all year. So I'm just going to stick to that theory.
I think the
And
only one that's playing like a psychopath from Penrith at the moment is fucking Spencer. Spencer Lenju is crazy.
yeah,
That
he
guy is
is
mental.
definitely
Box
bad.
office. Worth watching. You know what? Taking the Tigers as well. Odds
Nice.
have come in. The old Snake Charmer got him at 20.5.
Oof.
Honcho's on him at 19.5. I'm late to the party, so I'm taking it at 18.5. What'd you get? 17?
Nah, 18. 18 and a half. $1.94.
Okay. Ooh, I got $1.90. Oof.
Oh no,
I'm getting
$1.90.
nervous.
Sorry, it's a no. I'm looking at the wrong bet. It was boosted, but
Boosted?
$1.90. Yeah.
Yeah. But look, again, it's going to be a great game. Spencer's playing. And I'll be back in Luke Brooks. Hopefully he does something good. But look, an old rivalry. Hopefully there's enough in it that Tigers fans can give Ivan Cleary the finger in this one. The Snake Charmer. Check this out. Asking the girls if they want to peg them.
Good point.
The old Panthers, eh? And we go into Sunday. Sunday, what do we got? 2 o'clock. We've got the New Zealand Warriors versus Sydney Roosters at Mount Smart Stadium. If the fucking 90% of the Warriors team didn't get bloody injured and shit, I'd be jumping on them straight away. But a little bit hesitant at the moment, so I might need some convincing. The Warriors are missing Tohu Harris, Charles Nickel-Klokstad, Jazz Tavanga. They're all out. Dylan Walker's most likely going to be suspended from a bit of WrestleMania in there. The old head slam, like, what? What did I do?
What do you mean?
So Volkman will probably come in, but I think Wade Egan's coming back, and he's been very good for them this year. He's got a great try scoring rate too. And the Roosters, who have been pretty much disappointing all year. You know, they've won a lot of games, but I feel like they've still been pretty shit. Angus Crichton, he's moving to the bench. Tupou's he's a big out, hamstring injury. What were your thoughts on the Joey Manu at 6 experiment? They dropped Sam Walker. Joey in the
Not
half.
convinced. Still not convinced. I don't know. I don't know if it's the for me that doesn't scream out like that's going to be a grand final lineup where I'm like, oh, Manu's one of the best 5'8" in the comp. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Still searching for answers. Look, the Warriors are $3. Roosters are 39. Line 7.5, which is pretty juicy. Totals are 43.5. What are your thoughts on this one, brah?
I have Warriors to cover the line still. So plus 7.5. Reasons being, obviously, the Warriors, I feel like, were very unlucky last night, but also they're actually 3-0 in New Zealand, unbeaten in New Zealand, 3 wins, 0 losses this year, whereas the Roosters are 0-3 on the road. Roosters have won 4 games. They've all been at home at Allianz, outside Allianz. They're dreadful. So I'm going to take the combination of the Warriors' home form and the Roosters' awful away form and say they're going to hang on to 7.5.
Yeah. No, I'm actually with you on that one for similar reasons. The Warriors are my second favorite team. But also, the Roosters, I'm having a look at their 8 games this year. They've got 4 wins, 3 losses. All 4 of those wins were by 8 points or less. So that's 7.5, even if the Roosters do somehow get over. There's a good chance of that happening. We spoke about the Warriors' great form at home. They're undefeated. They're definitely going to be up. They've got the home crowd advantage. But then I'm looking at the players that they're losing. Tua Picky at the back. So he filled in with CNK last time. Very small fella. Smaller than me, I think. But he was, very difficult to touch. Like a young Cody Nikarima out there. Like very agile. Good hands. So he could cause some problems. Dylan Walker will be out, but Volkman's played 6 quite a few times. He's been a part of a few of their wins. And they lose Jazz, but now Josh Curran's going to get a lot of minutes. And last year, Josh Curran was one of their best players, and he's only getting like 20 minutes a game now.
Yeah.
So they've got a bit of depth in that forward rotation. So Josh Curran is in. Tohu Harris is out as well. But again, they still got AFB. He's killing it. Bunty's
Still
been underrated his whole career. Jackson Ford is playing so much better than anyone expected him to be. Niokore is playing better at the Warriors than what he did at Parramatta. And Josh Curran, like I just said, their bench, Lussick, Sirinen, Ale, and Valia. I think Valia is really, really good. The rest, they do okay. But, Wade Egan's a big in. And then the Roosters, they're fucking stacked. They're just not playing well. Almost their whole team is really good. They're just not, they're not playing well enough. Jared's got too many errors. Brandon Smith actually played all right yesterday.
He did.
He played pretty good. But, everyone else is pretty quiet. Teddy's quiet. Suoli's quiet. Joey Manu's, look, it's loud, but again...
That backline just looks so much weaker, though, with Corey Allen, Suoli, Momorowski, and Jackson Paulo there. Yeah. Doesn't look like that backline going, Jesus Christ, they're going to put points on. Like, Momorowski is
It'd probably be hard for them to get meters, the back three.
Yeah.
Meters could be difficult. I'd probably say out of all, the only ones who are probably in form, you'd say Brandon Smith's warming into it. Lindsay Collins probably been their best player all year.
Yeah.
That guy's been fucking excellent. That's about it. They're great players, but none of them playing up. Look at their bench. Hutchison, Crichton, Tupanua, and Lodge.
It's a very good bench. There's no weak point coming on, eh? You're like, fuck, these guys could be starting anywhere.
Yeah. The weak point is just how they play together. So, look, they're probably just hit a point where they're getting diminishing returns now.
Yeah.
Just keep adding great players, but they're probably capped out a little bit. So we're both taking the Warriors. Do you have any other players on this one?
No. Warriors cover.
Okay, sweet. And to round it out in your 4 p.m. game on Sunday, we've got the Dragons versus the Bulldogs at Wynn Stadium. Dragons are $1.65. The Dogs are $2.25. The line's 3.5 points. And totals, you're looking at 39.5. So one of the lower totals on the round. Tautau Moga, after scoring 945 tries in 2 games, he's injured once again. Poor bloke.
Jeez, he looks old as well.
He's so old.
He looks like a granddad. I watched him yesterday. I'm like, fuck, he looks old.
He looks fucking stressed. Like, he's had more knee surgeries than I have, and I can barely walk upstairs. So I don't know how he's still playing fucking rugby league, to be honest. And for the Dogs, Flanagan's gone. I told you last week, this is what you move Burton to 7. Flanagan's got this week to perform. If not, he's out. But they didn't put fucking Oluwapu in. They put Reynolds in.
Fucking hell.
What's your mate? What's the coach's name? Fucking
Zeraldo.
What's he doing?
I think they just basically realize they're not going to make the 8, so don't expose him into like a flogging, basically. But Nathan Cleary debuted against Melbourne Storm in Melbourne. We got flogged, so it's not the worst thing.
Yeah. I would run the young guy. I would not be playing Josh Reynolds. I would not be playing Josh Reynolds in a game that you should win. If you got a good chance to win it, I would not play this guy. I'd play him on the games where you're like 10.5 point underdogs, because just get him on there to hype the boys in the crowd up. Like, it's an away game too. You don't need him. He's not going to get any cheers. His value is gone.
Cheers. You know what's funny with Reynolds on his NRL profile? They have him down as 6 foot tall, 182 centimeters.
Yeah, fucked.
Not a chance he is 6 foot tall.
5'10" at best.
Yeah, at best.
With shoes on.
Yes.
So, look, interesting one. Dragons are favourites in this one, despite losing 3 games on the trot. I thought that was somewhat impressive against the Roosters, but the Roosters weren't playing up. Dogs have also lost 3 games in a row. Scored 20 against Cronulla, but Cronulla let everybody score 20. So, somewhat difficult one, but which way are you leaning and why?
Taking the Dragons to cover the line in this one. And Reynolds is a big, big reason why. I don't understand that selection at all. I thought Tyrell Sloan was amazing yesterday as well, by the way.
Oh, he was. That's crazy, because he's always been capable of that.
Yeah, but he's just got that athletic game about him where he's just fast. And
he's got a good fend. Like his fend is really good. He's got that long body of his. He'll still have to fill out, but he moves. He's fucking smooth, that guy. Like,
For me,
he moves that smooth. I reckon he could sprint across a crowded dance floor and not touch anyone.
yeah, for sure.
He's fucking smooth.
For me, for this game though, this is Anthony Griffin's job on the line. I feel like if they cannot beat the Dogs, I feel like Griffin loses his job the next week.
When isn't his job on the line though?
No, but this is it. Like, I feel like it's D-Day for him. D-Day. Like,
It is?
if he can't beat this Dogs team where they're favoured to win, then that's when the board will go, see you later, mate.
Well, that means Ben Hunt is going to have a blinder because
Yes.
Ben Hunt, he's
Mate,
a bit inconsistent, but he's their best player. But
He'll
he
clean the
backs
bed
his
up
coach.
if someone's shatting in his bed.
Yeah. He backs his coach in. Like, he's the perfect
He's
wingman.
loyal.
Yeah. Like, he's that much of a good bloke. He'll catch the shit before it even hits the sheets, just so you wake up with a great impression of that woman you had over. That's Ben Hunt for you. He loves his coach. He's been backing him publicly for years.
Agree.
So you're leaning the Dragons. Like, I'm leaning the Dragons as well, but that could be because I don't like the Dogs. Backline's pretty weak. Reynolds is playing, which is pretty crazy. But Tavita's back in, and he wasn't too bad last week. Bit offload happy, but when isn't he? Yeah,
their bench just looks. It's their bench for me.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know who Samuel Hughes is.
Sam Hughes hasn't got a picture, like Ryan Sutton's the only one really there. Ockenball, so we know, but like even the Dragons bench with Josh Kerr and Jacob Little looks a little bit better.
That's true. Josh Kerr can be very impactful. Little can be excellent at 9. I don't know why they've run Moses to start. I honestly have no idea what's going on here. But yeah, I'm not the coach. So,
but if is this Curtis Moran like a dummy half song? He's a lock. They must be playing in a dummy half or something. Which is strange because if Reynolds does shit, they're fucked. Which I thought that'd be at least get Oluwapu on the bench and then bring him on and put Reynolds at 9 or something. But
yeah, look, when there's still a chance that he can play, right? Being in the reserves.
Yeah, they could.
Kickoff. Because
he most likely be an hour out. Yeah.
If he plays for the Dogs, I'll take the Dogs. I think he just gives the Dogs what they're missing, just some attack, some creativity, because they're so fucking shit. Like, even Burden's bombs are not entertaining anymore. Like, that ship is sailed. It's not exciting for anyone. We get it. You kick the fucking ball.
But he's
if
offside.
That's what I wanted to see, I'd watch AFL, mate.
But his problem is, compared to Cleary, is he stands 10, 15 minutes back behind the line. So he hits it up and everyone's offside. Whereas Cleary will take it towards the line, hit it, and the people on the side of them usually are onside as well. So every team sees it, they'll just let it bounce, knowing that they get a free grab out at the second bounce.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. He gets so deep to give himself time, no one can chase it.
Yeah, no one can chase it. He basically is relying on the opposition trying to catch it and knock it on, which now every team doesn't. They just let it bounce and catch the second bounce, knowing they're not going to get contested for it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what they need to stop doing, what I've noticed. When teams let the ball bounce, they still jump for the ball, thinking they can't get tackled. And sometimes they do get tackled in the air, and everyone's like, what is this ref? But you're allowed to, you dickhead. Like, you play that sport for a living. Don't you know the rules? Fucking hell. But yeah, I find that interesting. So I'm not going to put a play on this one right now. I'm leaning the Dragons. But if Oluwapu does somehow manage to get his way into that 17, because Reynolds can't play 80 minutes anyway. There's no way he can.
Nah, he'll be cooked. Whoever's running at him, if you see someone early at back row taking a run at him, wait till halftime, get on that person to score a try in the second half.
It could be Jack Bird running at him. He's a fucking physical fucker, Jack Bird. He had a mad shot on Jared Hargreaves, like big physical fucker. Murdoch Masilla, it could be him, but it could be like Moses Sully running at him too,
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be rough. Where Burden plays on the left, right? Regardless of if he's 7 or 6. So Reynolds will be on the right. Yep. So it'd actually be Lomax's side. Lomax and Jack Bird. So either of those could be up for a cheeky try here if Reynolds stays on. So
definitely.
Yeah. I'm leaning Dragons, but if Oluwapu's on, if he plays, I might switch that to the Dogs last minute. But it should be a close one. I think the odds are pretty much spot on for this one, I must say. Yeah. But yeah, pretty keen as fuck. But look, we've hit the 1 hour mark, Luke. Not going to keep you any longer than you have to be. It is late. I'm a little bit dusty after yesterday, I got to admit. But really excited to see that we're back on. More rugby league coming up. Anaconda for you lads. I know the Snake Charmer's already got one out. I'll be doing one tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. I feel like I'm overdue for that one. Join the Discord if you haven't already. And subscribe to the fucking channel. I stopped doing NBA, can you believe it? And the subs are dropping off. Lost like
Playoffs.
9 subs for these NBA heads. Too
Wow.
much time, too much effort. Can't commit to that right now, but the NRL, I shall not stop. So, first time checking us out, subscribe to the channel. I shall appreciate it. We'll be back either Tuesday or Wednesday next week, depending on my busy schedule and Luke's hectic calendar. But Luke, always a pleasure, my friend. And for the lads in the chat, I appreciate y'all for staying so active with us. Best of luck. Gamble responsibly. If you want to, do as I say, not as I do. Assalamu alaikum.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney.